Howdy, howdy, welcome back to my little digital slice of the grand land of Olean. We're jumping right into chapter 19 before the show. You get a double feature, a double premiere. Ooh, buddies. Easy Riders. You arrive and the room is set up the way you want. The lights and sound meet your needs, and in the center of the performing area sit the table and two chairs you require. All thanks to the rider you sent to your client or not. Your mileage may vary. A rider is a document that accompanies your performance contract. It rides along. In the past, riders were used mostly by performers working larger venues. No longer. Today, just about every performer sends or should send some sort of instructions about what the show needs and what the client can do to help ensure a successful experience for all. And yes, this even applies to those who specialize in kids' shows. The rider does not need to be a multi page, intimidating document for many performers. A few scant paragraphs in clear English will get the job done. Others will want more specifics. Top tier family entertainer Tom Heenig generously allowed me to share the rider he sends to his clients. Peak Show, pkshow.com/arrival guide. Please do not copy Tim's rider, but use it to stimulate your own thinking about what you could send to your clients. The best advice I can give about riders is to find people who do shows similar to yours and talk to them about this topic. Most will or should be willing to share. Know your audience. You need to ascertain, if only in the broadest terms, who will be facing you. You may pull out the same tricks for the Boy Scouts or a senior citizen group, but at the very least, your pacing will be different. Beyond the age range, you want to know the type of person out there. Business audiences are not all the same. Salespeople do not respond the same as senior management. When performing for the religious organizations, check to see if there are sections of your act that might offend or seem out of place. The mentalist especially needs to tread lightly here. Some groups contend that looking into the future or unraveling hidden thoughts is expressly prohibited, and they will recite scripture to prove their point. Don't argue with them. You're not likely to change anyone's mind, regardless of how carefully you frame your rebuttal. Then there's the performer's nightmare, which, if you stay in this business long enough, will happen to you while your eyes are open and you're fully awake. The audience that doesn't speak your language. You assume that the folks who brought you in for the occasion would never let this befall any performer, but it has happened to me and many of my performing friends. That's why you want to ask a few basic questions ahead of time. Then there was the time I was booked to do my hypnosis show, and only after I stepped onto stage did I learn that a large percentage of my audience was hearing impaired. When I turned to the woman who booked me to ask about the situation, she said, "Don't worry, they read lips." Wonderful, I thought to myself. One of the first things I say to my onstage volunteer is, when I count to three, close your eyes. Luckily, there were enough staff people for me to pull off a successful show. Forewarned is forearmed. Ask these questions well before you step onto the stage. Who's on first? Las Vegas magician Shimshi told me about the time he attended a public magic show, and three of the four magicians performed slight variations of the same routine! Exclamation point. I've seen similar screw ups many times. Sometimes they do the same tricks, sometimes it's a repeat of a joke told earlier, or some other bit of business. And when it happens, it's terrible. If you are on a bill with other performers, at the very least, you must all share a set list with each other. But truly, that's not enough. You should make every effort to watch or at least listen to the performers who precede you. Why? You want to see what you want to see and hear their bits, their lines, their gags, so that you don't look stupid by doing any of them. Here's an annoying but true statement. Even if you are the originator of a routine or joke, if you do it after the other guy, the audience will assume you are the thief. In addition, you want to see who they bring up on stage. We've all began to ma- began we've all been to magic shows where the same people, women typically, are brought up as participants. It's awkward for all concerned. Take steps to stop it. We're just gonna plug in my phone real quick. 2 hands. One second. Not even sure what that goes to. Hopefully nothing important. Oh wait, that is the thing I need. Oopsies. We're good. We are good. I thought I unplugged the wrong one. Hmm. Well, let's put some music on. We're just taking a little bit of a break here. You guys are just hanging out with me here in my studio, and I'm having a good time doing some reading. But I think maybe some music in the background would be beneficial. That's stuff I listen to all the time, but I can't really listen to it on here. Maybe at some point we can. It just won't be able to use it per se. Let's see if I click here. Will this work? Let's see. What am I looking for? Took me a second. Oop. There we go. I found it. Make sure it's not too loud. Hello, hello. Yeah, I don't even think it's showing up. That's weird. You can hear me, but you can't really hear that. I've also been pretty curious about the fact I probably could, because I have my microphone stand here, but the microphone can come out. So theoretically, I could have a corded microphone. Uh, and this is a table thing that doesn't work as well as I'd like. But this boom actually does have a microphone holder. Just doing some thought. But it looks like you're getting some music here in the background now, so let's go ahead and turn that down. Perfect. Okie dokie, we're back. We are back. Let's see here. Doing our peek ahead here. We do have a good bit of pages to get through. So let's go ahead and get back into it. Setting the environment. That's what we're going to be doing. No matter how carefully you write your rider, things won't be perfect. That's why you arrive early while the room is being set up. This is your opportunity to turn the venue into your space, your office, your place of business. Don't blow it. Get to know whatever staff may be assigned to the room for your event. Audio-visual technicians, the maitre d', the head porter who's setting up the tables and chairs, the backstage crew, etc. Politely introduce yourself, smile, and say their name. Back to them as you shake hands. Much of the time, they go about their jobs unrecognized, especially by talent, and the simple act of acknowledging their worth will help create an ally. In show business, you need all the friends you can muster. Survey the general situation. Are there doors near the performing area that might open during your set? If people need to take a bathroom break while you're on, what will be their path? For both of the above scenarios, try to position your performance area so you will be subjected to the fewest distractions possible. You may even be able to deputize one or two people to act as ushers. Do you know where the room's lighting controls are? Many times lights have gone dark while I was performing because someone unknowingly leaned against a switch. If you know the location of those switches, you can immediately resolve the problem. Even when you have people from the hotel or organization doing the sound and or lights for you, they sometimes aren't around when things go wrong. The more you know about the situation, the better. At the risk of being overly dramatic, think of your performance as a battle for which you need allies to overcome obstacles. Every venue presents a new set of obstacles that must be discovered and then tamed. What do chairs in the audience have to do with maximum entertainment? Much more than most performers seem to realize. When setting the room, remember two important things about chairs. The closer together, the better. You want people to hear the reaction of others, the laughs, the gasps, the applause. Do what you can to bring people together. Often the center aisle is wider than necessary. Reduce that by putting or have someone place one or two more chairs into the gap at the end of each row. Generally, the closer to you, the better. Often, the front row is much further back from the stage than it needs to be. You don't want to perform for a dead space. You want to live on. You want live onlookers. Again, fill that space by arranging for a row or two to be added. Stay in this business long enough, and eventually you'll be stuck presenting to a small crowd in a large room. That's a difficult situation, and you want to avoid it. So before your show, try to get a last minute approximation of the number of people expected and have the room set accordingly. If it becomes clear that too many chairs are set up, act immediately. First, remove excess chairs from the back of the room. People often have a phobia about sitting up front, and if you give them the opportunity to wander in and sit anywhere, they'll stay in the back. So get rid of those back rows if the chairs are movable. If the chairs are immovable, as in a theater, rope off the back sections. If you don't have people who can do those things at your direction, you do it! Exclamation point. When possible, deputize assistants to actually escort audience members to their seats, with instructions to fill in the front rows first. If you walk out on stage and find a small audience scattered around a large room, within the first few minutes after you walk out, politely but firmly tell the people in the back to move forward. You'll enjoy the show much more from the front. Trust me, I've seen it! Exclamation point. A related high octane tip. If you have people you need to impress, agents, meeting planners, potential significant others, be sure to sit them near the front. This applies to virtually any live performance. Those up front experience a different show, a better show, sad to say, than those in the back. You can easily prove that to yourself at any large venue rock concert. Despite the fact that everyone is there because they very much want to be, you will always see less gyrating enthusiasm in the back sections than in the front. There's a reason the cheap seats are cheaper. Stairs or steps. If you bring people from the audience to the stage, ensure that there is an easy route for them to reach the stage. Ideally, two sets of stairs would lead from the audience to the stage. Walk on them yourself. Are they sturdy? If not, take action to fix the problem. If the steps do not have handrails and your volunteers are women in heels, or anyone who seems the slightest bit unsteady because of age or having enjoyed the open bar, walk to the top of the stairs and offer your hand for assistance. If the area immediately off the stage is dark, you might suggest that bright or luminous tape be placed on the top edge of each step. Doors. Bang! Exclamation point. If you're a professional, you know this scene. You're performing in a hotel banquet room. You are about to hit one of the highlights of your program. All attention is focused on you, and at that very moment, someone walks in through the large doors. Do they do what you or I would do, holding it so that it closes slowly and softly? Of course not. They allow the big heavy doors to slam shut. Half the eyes in the room turn to see who it is, and your climactic moment is shot. What do? Top pro magicians and motivational speaker John Pitts has some wonderful ideas about how to prevent this very real, very common problem. Here are his words. While some newer ballrooms have reasonably silent doors, the bulk you encounter are the ones with a horizontal metal bar that unlatches the door. You have to press down on the metal bar to unlatch the door and push it open. In reality, it usually isn't the sound of the door opening or closing that actually makes the biggest noise. Rather, it's the action of depressing the metal bar for the latch to retract enough to allow the door to open. So you have two options. Remove the metal bar and pay hefty fines to the hotel, or force the door latch to be in the open position. The door will still open and close, but won't actually latch. Therefore, most of the noise-making operation goes away. How to do that? My solution may look odd, but it's very functional. Have a roll of gaffer tape, as known as gaffer's tape, gaff tape, and camera tape in your tech bag. Go to the main doors or each door, press the metal bar in to open the door, hold the metal bar down to the latch so that the latch is in the open position, then tape it in the open position. It will take 2 or 3 pieces of tape generally to hold it down. It doesn't look pretty, but it works. Be sure to use gaffer tape. If you do this with any other tape, such as duct tape, you will make enemies, and that venue will never let you back. Gaffer tape leaves no residue or sticky stuff on the door when you peel it off. Most AV teams will have it with them, and most AV people will be pissed if you use theirs. At typically around $14+ per small roll, it isn't cheap. So get your own. It's also great for taping down cords in a safe way. It rips easily with your fingers as well. To make friends, tell the banquet captain at the hotel what you're doing. To help your team and myself out when people have to come in and out, I'm going to tape the door latch open. Don't worry, I'm using gaffer tape and I will remove it when I'm done. However, banquet captain, if you have another method you use so the doors won't make any noise, we can do that as well. Get them on your side. This small trick benefits everyone. Great tip. Thanks, John. Makeup. I'm not an expert on makeup, but in a moment we'll read the advice of someone who is. My major input comes down to this. Too much is worse than none at all. If I'm sitting in the 5th row of a theater and I'm aware, as I was recently, of the rogue on the cheek of a male magician, not a clown, ! It's a distraction. And I will add that this section is directed primarily at male performers. We tend to know little or nothing about makeup. Women know makeup, although stage makeup is usually somewhat different than daily street makeup. Makeup should always be used when you have your publicity photos taken and when you do TV appearances. For my regular platform work, I rarely use makeup, other than the stick makeup specifically formulated for dark shadows under the eyes, or as I call them, excess baggage. I know several leading pros who have a similarly minimalist approach to cover-ups, but in general, you do want to wear some makeup when working under light, full stage lights. For some, just a little working under bright, full stage lights. For some, just a little powder to cut down the reflection may be sufficient, or for a simple brainless standby used by many in the television industry. We used it in my Brooklyn College TV days, and it's still used by many newsmen just prior to stepping before the cameras. Turn to Max Factor Tan number 2, lightly applied with a damp sponge. It obviously depends on your complexion, but that product suits most Caucasian men, and it's a good beard cover for 5 o'clock shadow. Now, to the expert. Paul Elberstadt is a successful full-time performer with a BFA in theater arts. I had read some of his writings about makeup, and it's clear that this man knows his stuff. Here's his mini course on makeup for magicians and mentalists. The best makeup to use is Ben Nye Cream Stick. Go to a quality supplier, find a good match for your skin tone for the base, a good neutral powder, a large container. You can never have too much powder. A light blush, and lake lip color. Again, this is neutral for a man. either a brown or black eyeliner pencil, depending on your eye color, and a white eyeliner pencil as well, which you use if you happen to have bloodshot eyes. Lining the lower part of your lid helps to magnify the white and remove the red. A little tip: if you are working on television or close up situations without any other makeup. The reason I prefer Ben Nye cream is that when you powder after each step, you can literally erase any mistakes and continue, as opposed to having to remove everything and starting over. This is a big advantage. If it is a quality shop you are purchasing from, they should have a specialist who can show you how to apply everything, instructionally, which again is worth your while. Always apply your makeup under incandescent lights, not fluorescent lights. The only way you apply makeup under fluorescent lights is when you are applying makeup for television, and truthfully, any good show will have a specific makeup artist there to apply it for you. The light and shadows are different when working on stage, and you need incandescent lighting to do your application correctly. Get a get a pump bottle of fragrance-free hairspray. Avoid liqueur sprays. This is used as a sealer before you apply any makeup at all. Just spray a light covering all over your face and wait 30 seconds for it to dry. This prevents any oils from coming up to the surface and blotching your makeup. This is a little secret that few now know about. Those with particularly oily skin might apply witch hazel or any similar astringent prior to the spray. However, if you wash your face thoroughly right before you apply the makeup, you probably won't need the spray or a more expensive oil blocking barrier cream. The spray or creme is a good thing if you don't have the facilities for washing, or if you are in a hurry. The spray dries a lot quicker. If you apply powder after each step, the makeup should be fine without either one. Don't forget the cold cream, like Nivea, and good astringent like Bonne Bell 1006, as they will help immensely to remove the makeup later. You will also need some applicator sponges and brushes, plus some Q-tips and cotton balls. Make sure, including street makeup, is supposed to improve your looks. Makeup, including street makeup, is supposed to improve your looks, not make you look as if you are painted! Exclamation point. As you apply the base for your first few times, you should have someone a good distance away from the stage judge the application for you while you stand under those bright lights. Finally, the best thing to do is to talk to a makeup specialist, not a woman behind a cosmetic counter. Go to a theater, theatrical supply house that has a makeup specialist, or seek out a theatrical makeup artist and pay for a consultation. Have him or her match you with the best skin tone for you, along with the proper eyeliner, color, brushes, etc. In effect, you are having them put together a personalized makeup kit. Keep a list of everything in a separate place so that you will always know what it is that you may need to replace in case something goes missing. I asked Paul if any updates were needed to his original words. He replied, "While there are a few other makeup options to choose from, it's still a matter of what works best for the individual. The basics that I have laid out are still sound, and remembering to powder after each step is important. When applying makeup, it helps to think of a ball with a light on it. Check where the light is brightest and how the light fades and shadows begin is how you apply your layers. You need to decide which features you wish to highlight. Do you want your nose to appear sharper or smaller? Do you want chipmunk cheeks or hide them? Imagine the bright spotlight on your face and apply makeup accordingly. Thanks again, Paul." Let's see here. Still got a good ways to go. About 6 pages. And we are about 24 minutes in. Absolutely fantastic. Wowzers. Anyway, see here. Let's go ahead and figure out what's going on next. Getting exciting, too. Because now we're not just talking about the stuff that you're doing in the back. We're talking about some of the stuff that you're doing for prep. Now, obviously, we're talking about sound and lighting to get things prepared. But that's all stage stuff. This is stuff that we're talking about for you. Now, this is a word that I'm not sure if I can pronounce. So let's give it a try. Melodureris. Melodurous melodies, etc. I hate to bring up these embarrassing subjects, but the older you get, the more you realize that anyone can broadcast bad odors without being aware of it. You ought to shower as close to showtime as is practical, and always use a quality antiperspirant. Some cheap ones smell foul! Exclamation point. Apply it in moderation. Too much and it becomes an issue by itself. Avoid heavy doses of aftershave lotion or cologne. What you find attractive may be repulsive to others. Before your show, always execute a preemptive strike against possible offending breath. You don't want the folks on stage to back away from you. If possible, brush your teeth, follow with mouthwash, or at least chew on a breath mint or two. In a pinch, grab some parsley garnish from the kitchen. It's a potent bad breath neutralizer. Check yourself in a mirror. Up close! Exclamation point. Without being overly graphic, check those orifices from which nasties might be protruding. Smile wide and check your teeth. Any spinach there? Then step back and check your total look. Are all your pocket flaps down? Is your tie straight? Is your jacket collar smooth? Are you doing Steve Martin's Fly Dini act without intending to? Wow. We are good. Your introduction. Don't take your introduction lightly. It's far more important than most performers realize. The way you're introduced immediately affects the audience's expectations. In many cases, they have little or no idea who you or what you do, and your intro becomes the welcome mat. Your first step into your world. Don't blow it. I wrote the above paragraph years ago, and now we have research to back it up. In September 2016 issue of Magic Magazine, Joshua J. published What Do Audiences Really Think? It contained the results of a carefully constructed research study done in partnership with Dr. Lisa Graham and the College of New Jersey. Much of it was eye-opening, and you'd be wise to check it out. Josh summarized the findings for the Magic Live 2017 General Session audience, and he said, with some wistfulness and a tinge of regret, that the single most important factor in how an audience appreciates a magician was the introduction! Exclamation point. Bluntly, if they think you are special even before you walk out, you immediately have an advantage. Sidebar. Josh Norbido mentioned this in one of the podcasts probably a couple months ago. He stated that he went to a show and he was with, I don't know if he was with Nick or with one of the other people, with the guy that he performs with more regularly, and they were just about to introduce them, and he said, "Hey, get some flash paper ready. We'll really get this going, right?" And so when they introduced them as the magicians, fireball from the hands, sealed the deal, right? Because now you've done magic, you've been introduced as a magician, and you've solidified it with something magical that you made fire appear out of nowhere. Definitely a good way to go. From the article, we found that when participants view the exact same clip of an effect, enjoyment is higher when the performer is introduced with accolades, awards, TV credits, high fees, etc. Did you get that? The same clip is enjoyed 52% more if people think they're watching someone great. An ounce of reputation is worth a pound of presentation. We tested for different accolades in each clip. Audiences are most impressed by television performances. The other accolades are appreciated about the same. However, magicians introduced with some kind of accolade, anything at all impressive, were more deeply appreciated. The takeaway here is that introductions matter. As a convention organizer, I've introduced many magicians. When asked how they would like to be introduced, the majority of performers say things like whatever you want or just keep it short and it doesn't matter. If you care about how deeply your audience appreciates you, it does matter. Quick caveat. This isn't a license to invent credits, just encouragement to use the ones you've already earned. Sure, you were in the audience for a taping of the Tonight Show. That doesn't mean you were on the Tonight Show. And just auditioning for America's Got Talent doesn't give you that credit. If it didn't air, you weren't on it. KW. Introductions for or instructions for introductions. Even when they do know about you, the intro sets the tone for the first few moments. Make it inviting, with just enough information to set the mood without becoming overly self-serving. Now and then, someone from the venue will have already written your introduction. Your response must be along the lines of "Great!" exclamation point. Let me take a look at it just to make sure everything is correct. Chances are it won't be great, and you'll be glad you saw it beforehand. Your introduction should be pre-written by you, with just a hint of what you're about to do. Include your best credits. This is your opportunity to have someone else brag about you. Where you've performed, for whom, along with any honors, degrees, or other accomplishments that might be appropriate. Don't be shy! Exclamation point. People like to know they are being entertained by a star, even if they've never heard of you. Be typed in all caps, assuming it is fairly short in length, otherwise go with a large font. Be rehearsed with the person who will be delivering it, a possibly awkward request, so if they hesitate, back off. Have final words that are something like, please welcome. The last thing the MC says must be your name. If you work with an assistant, and especially if the assistant is clearly a vital part of the show, it's insulting to the assistant if only your name is announced. This is especially true if the two of you appear together right at the start. If it's typically a she, is present at the opening, then a one name intro might be acceptable. But she should then be acknowledged shortly after her appearance. You need to discourage the MC firmly from veering from your words. Ad-libs at this point rarely pay off. The last thing the MC will say is your name. Audiences have been preconditioned to begin clapping when they hear the name of the performer, so never place any words in your intro following your name. Please put your hands together is old school. The audience knows how to clap. Alternatives are, please welcome the amazing. Join me in welcoming to Palm Beach Correctional. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Joe Blowhard! Exclamation point. I always tell the MC with a smile the most important thing the MC has to do is make sure the performer is ready! Exclamation point. I say this lightheartedly, but I look right at them so they get the message that I'm not kidding. Twice in my early career, I was introduced when I was nowhere in the vicinity. The audience started to dislike me before I set foot on the stage! Exclamation point. If you are using a microphone that is on the stage, the MC must use the same mic for the introduction. If it's not working, that becomes his problem, not yours. Also, sometimes at a banquet, the MC will want to introduce you from the dais. Awful idea! Exclamation point. That would mean the audience looks at him and they must turn to face wherever you happen to be, and that leads to an awkward delay in getting your momentum. A good part of the MC's job is to get everyone's attention. Make it clear to him or her. Do not introduce me until you have everyone in their seats and paying attention to you. If, as I said, the microphone becomes unplugged, or a squeal, or if an unexpected feedback sounds, hands to ears, or stage lights aren't on, those problems must be discovered while the MC is on stage, not after the star you has been introduced. When you walk out, show the MC respect by shaking her hand and thanking her by name, and then acknowledge the audience. You might tell the MC beforehand that you are going to shake her hand. If, however, the MC walks off in the opposite direction, you either ignore her and acknowledge the audience, or you might, as I do, just play it for a laugh by extending your hand in her direction. But first, get there. My friend, Master Mentalist Christopher Carter, posted this on Facebook on December 2018. It was too good, too important to be seen only by his Facebook pals. So you're a performer, and your flight is canceled. A blizzard has socked you in. The nearby volcano is erupting. There's a good chance you can't get to your show. What do? Here is my handy guide. Step 1. Breathe. Shit happens, and sooner or later, it's going to happen to you. If it's the first time this has happened to you, you'll probably panic and start worrying that your career is over. It isn't. Remember that you can't control what happens to you, only how you respond to it. Step 2. Remember your priorities. Here they are in order. Priority 1. Your personal safety. No gig anywhere is worth risking your life. Sure, you're willing to do anything in your power to get to the gig, but keep a clear head about what's really in your power. That means driving through the blizzard is a dumb idea. Trust me, I've tried this far too many times. It's just not worth it. Priority 2. Your client. Once your safety is insured, start looking for someone to cover for you. This is where having a lot of friends in the business is helpful. You might have to try a lot of people. Priority 3. Your business interest. Notice that this comes after your client's interest. If taking care of a client means that I'll have to pay more than I would have gotten from the gig, I'll do it. Obviously, I'd like to find a rescheduling option and keep the money for myself, but keeping the client happy in the moment is more important. Step 3. Work on your alternative travel plans. Under many circumstances, this step will be necessary for taking care of the client. Look for whatever options will get you to the gig. Figure out the expenses later. Will you lose money on the gig? So what? Exclamation point. A happy client is a future client. An upset client is one you'll never see again. Step 4. Assuming you can't make the gig, see if you can reschedule. Step 5. Assuming you can't reschedule, do everything possible to find a replacement. Think you're irreplaceable? Think again. Step 6. Once all of the above is done, breathe again. You now have some downtime to work on other projects. That's it. Pretty simple. Thanks, Chris. And now that you're at the gig, to be seen or not to be seen. For the first many years of my performing career, I stayed out of sight prior to being introduced. I wanted to maintain that air of mystery. Then, as years passed, from time to time, I had no choice, for various reasons, but to spend time with the audience members before the show. After a while, it hit me. Doing so is not a bad thing, and it likely helps. Why? My assumption is that by mingling, we make friends, and there is never a downside to having friends in the audience. Those folks will see you as a person, not a stranger, up on stage. They will make eye contact with you, and they will be smiling. This is a personal preference, but it has worked for me, and I have spoken to a good number of pros who have come to the same conclusion. You probably don't want to prance up and down the aisles before the show, but saying hi to a few folks in addition to gaining supporters might actually put you more at ease. It did for me. Just before you walk out, some performers drag themselves onto the stage looking defeated. Don't let that happen to you. Walk out with confidence! Exclamation point. If you have a tendency to slouch, and the older you get, the more pronounced that tendency becomes, use this trick to get yourself ramrod straight. Stand with your back against the wall or door. Straighten up so the backs of your shoes, the backs of your calves, your buttocks, your shoulder blades, and the back of your head all touch the wall. Stay that way for 5 to 10 seconds. Get the feeling of everything coming into alignment. Then step away, maintaining that posture. As the show progresses, gravity will pull you down. So make an effort to mentally snap back to the feeling you had when you stood against the wall. Slouched shoulders and drooping head signal age and world weariness. A straight arrow posture signals youthful vitality and self assurance. As an entertainer, that's the image you want to project. If your muscles feel tight while waiting to go on, stretch. Actually, stretching is a valuable pre show habit, even if you don't think you are tight. It loosens the muscles and calms the nerves. To stretch your neck muscles, which tend to tighten especially in the presence of excess nervous energy, roll your head around. This is not the same to feel self-conscious. This is not the time to feel self-conscious! Exclamation point. If people do see you, they will assume this is what some pros do before they step on stage. It is. Good thing we're towards the end because coughing is starting. Take a couple of deep breaths. You may be breathing shallowly without being aware of it, and that won't help you. This from Meditation for Fidgety Skeptics by ABC News anchor Dan Harris. Deep breathing can mitigate the impact of adrenaline on fine motor skills and information processing. So seriously, take those 2 or 3 deep breaths. Have a large glass of water or a water bottle available backstage before you walk out. And if you do a long show, another somewhere on the stage, take a final sip. Go get 'em! Exclamation point. Fantastic. So that's going to take us to Monday. Is going to be chapter 20 during the show. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for the double feature. You get 2 premieres today. Really appreciate all of you out there in the YouTube lands. Don't forget to be a book sponsor today. Yeah, you just click the super thanks and super chats. All the buttons. Just click all the buttons. It's great. It's great for you and it's great for me. And don't forget to subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And of course, don't forget to check out the video that's just for you. Yep, just for you. Ta-da!